guys, welcome back to another art vlog with me. I'm not a full-time artist, I'm just a part-time artist, so I do this for fun. So we can work on, oh my god, I need to relax. What the heck is wrong with me? I'm on camera, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that I'm here to paint, and we're gonna do oil paint. We're painting with oil today. So I started this piece not that long ago, and I never got to finish it because life is crazy, life is busy. I don't always have time to sit and paint as much as I would love to do that every day. So this is the reference photo I'm using. It's kind of similar. I wish I found this reference photo when I did the rest of it because I feel like the skin tones would have benefited so much. And reference photos are really, really important. I love reference photos. As long as you don't copy from them, I really don't see the big deal. Because it's not nice to copy people's work and say it's your own. Just saying. For some of you out there, you know who you are. But that's what we're gonna do. I really wanted a photo that had kind of what I was going for. Like I wanted sunflowers in her hair. You can tell this is a pretty low quality picture here, but at least gives me some shape of the hair because she has really coily hair in this, and that's what I kind of wanted. And that sunflower has some nice dimension. It's not just flat, so it has like a bit of curvature to it. So that's perfect. That's what I wanted. So let's paint. Let's get going. First of all, I'm going to show you what canvas I use because, well, not canvas, I'm talking about palettes here. What the heck is wrong with me? Anyway, we're going to talk about palettes because somebody made a comment the one day about, what the heck, why are you using a paper palette? That's just silliness. Everybody who knows art knows that you don't paint on paper. And I just want to say I'm not. It is technically paper, but it is a paper palette, which is pretty awesome because this thing, I can literally just rip out a palette, fold it up, and use the paint again because it keeps it nice and wet when you fold it over like that because the air is not exposing it. And honestly, you don't really have to worry too much about oils doing that because oils dry a lot slower than other paints. Like I'm pretty used to using acrylics. Anybody who knows the difference between acrylic paint and oil paint can tell you this. It dries so much slower. You really don't have to worry too much. It's more of an acrylic thing that you really have to worry. So I use these because they're just easy. Not really a mess when I use this. Like you can kind of tell it's glossy. So it mixes pretty nice with a palette knife and everything. I like them. I highly recommend. 100%. Highly recommend. They're pretty nice. So I also use these as my oil paints. They're pretty cheap on Amazon. I got a pretty big pack. I forget how many's in the pack, but it's the Magic Fly oil paint pack, and I love them. I love them to death. So I'm using Burnt Umber. First thing I'm putting on my palette here. That's my palette. I'm gonna start mixing. Maybe this one. Flat brush. Yeah, I kind of like that. We're going to do the background color. I haven't really decided on a background color, but I feel like this has a lot of red tones. So maybe we'll do some yellow. Yeah. I don't want it to be too crazy. I want it to be a little muted. So let's do the yellow. This teeny tiny bit of red. Oh, I forgot my green. What the heck is wrong with me? Put blue in there, but no green. I need my opposite color because I have a lot of red tones. So I'm adding green. Green. Silly me. What a noob thing to do. But anyway, add some green. Because that will give you that opposite effect that I like a lot. And if you don't have a good foundation on your visual arts, like beginning visual arts, you should learn your complementary colors and oh, what's the word? I don't even remember. There's like all these different charts that you can check up on Google Images and stuff. Learn your values. That's important. That's really important, actually. Your foundation arts. That's what it is. God, my brain is like foggy today. Woo! I can't. I'm like 23 years old and have no memory ever. Does anybody else get like this? Because I definitely do. Alright, so I kind of have a color that I like. That's more like the sunflower color that I liked a lot. I'm going to add some white. Kind of dull it, light it up a little bit. And I don't really want anything in particular. I just kind of want to smear around some colors. The background doesn't have to be anything. So we're adding in some of that yellow. And I like a little bit of a grayed out kind of look, so we're going to add a little bit more green to that. And what's the opposite of yellow is purple. So if I add in a little bit of my blue and red, just a smidge, not a lot, because those colors go a long way. I mean like the teeny tiniest on your brush and see where that goes, because it's better to add less than too much, because then you gotta start over kinda. I don't feel like doing that. Nah. Don't feel like starting over today. Add a little white. Just kind of blob those colors on there. Smear them in. Doesn't have to be anything in particular. Like I said, this is kind of just, you're just kind of testing things out here. That's what I'm doing at this point. And don't forget to paint the sides. This is a little, what the heck is it? I have it's a canvas panel, so it's not an actual canvas. I kind of like these better anyway, because they're thin. So I don't really have much of a side to paint. It's just that little smidge. Little section there. So add some fun little smudges and smears in there, different colors. Brush strokes. I love that. I love brush strokes in my paintings. Just makes it so much more fun. Lob it on there. Smear it in. Different colors added through. Just a little bit. Nothing too drastic. I'm kind of painting over where you see that pencil mark, just because I'm going to be going over that where the hair is. And I don't want her hair to be just one blob. I want it to have some movement, so it's not going to be 100% covering that spot. So there's going to be like little, if you see in the reference photo, it doesn't go in just one big circle here. You see like these like little spots jutting out a little bit, and I kind of want to add that in. So that's why I'm not following the guideline on my painting too much, because I know I'm going to be painting over some of those sections. So I can actually just paint on top of that. So I'm just going over slightly. Just slightly. Not too crazy. We ain't going crazy today. I just got home from work. It's relaxing time. This might get in the way a little bit. I might take that down. Not even really looking at it anyway right now. This, I kind of want more white up there. That's where the sunflower is going to go anyway, so I don't want it to be too close to that yellow. A little white will brighten it up. Again, I'm kind of painting over some of that pencil mark where I had marked up where the flowers were gonna go and her hair. Which, by the way, I don't know anybody else who paints, but I don't know, like, when I'm doing my rough drafts, I could care less how it looks. They're just there for, like, a roadmap for me to map out where I want things. So they always look so crazy and chaotic. Anybody else like that? Like, I'd have, like, let me put it in a better way. They always look so crazy. Like, my rough drafts before I even paint look so bizarre. Like, you gotta see it. Like, I actually have a video of this painting in particular on my Instagram. I have a reel, so you can see how I painted the skin and the eyes. And you can see, like, the beginning stages of my paintings always look so crazy. Like, bizarre. They just look atrocious. But then once I start adding paints, I use it as, like, a reference, like a guide of what I'm doing, shapes. I don't really focus on what the picture looks like when I'm adding this sketch. I just kind of focus on the shapes, because that's what you're really looking for when you paint something. You're not really supposed to focus on the image itself, kind of. Like, when you're drawing a face, you don't want to think of it as a face. You're looking at the shapes of it. Like, what shapes are there? Adding more white, because I think it looks nice, like, blobbed in. Adding all this nonsense up here, because I can. Like I said, artistic licensing and whatnot. Just adding some blobs of color because I like it like that. So I'm taking some white in that yellowish color that I had. God, you can't even see. Focus. Oh, guess it's just not going to. And I'm going to do the opposite direction, so adds a little abstract, I guess you could say. Literally just blobbing on some colors, color blocking this in. And color blocking is super important too. You'll see I do that in my videos as well when I paint. I block in one solid color a lot, and then I'll go back and add the extra stuff. I think that's the easiest way for me to paint. It's really helpful when you're trying to figure out your shapes and how things are moving in your painting. Especially in skin. In anything, basically. What am I talking about? It's basically in everything. Color blocking is super important. Something that I think every artist should know how to do. Just kind of feathering in some extra color in there. I'm not going crazy layering anything there because I'm just going to cover it up with hair. Not going too chaotic with this. Feather in some more color. Because like I said before, I'm literally just going to paint over that. So that yellow needs to still be there for the background. So it's pretty feathered in for her hair. I like that yellowish color. Although I think it needs to be a little fun right in here. Fun. I say fun. It's just how I describe it, I guess. Make it fun. This is my relaxing time. Like, I really don't get a lot of time to sit here and paint, which is unfortunate, but I think I'm going to start doing more art vlogs and just kind of what I do when I have the time. I think it's fun. Build an art community, I guess. Love people to comment with, like, their journey as an artist. I think it's fun to know those things. Like, a lot of the artists who inspired me to start painting again, was Sarah Tepes. Who else? Catnip. I love her stuff. She's so cute. She has like the cutest like little style. It's like so kawaii. And if you don't know what that is, I guess you're missing out. But it's so cute. I love it. So I stopped painting for a long time, and then I don't know. Something just made me want to watch a painting video on YouTube. So I watched a bunch of like time lapses, and those always make me feel so creative afterwards. And then it just got me thinking like, what on earth? Why did I stop? I love to paint. I used to paint all the time in high school and everything. It was like everything like that I did. It was like I breathed. Is that even the word breathed? I guess. Doesn't sound right. Who knows? My mind is like fried from work today. I'm a quality control inspector. In case you didn't know that. If you don't know what that is, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I inspect things before they go out the door. I make sure you don't get some wonky stuff in your deliveries, I guess, for when you buy things. That's what I do. Has nothing to do with art, so this is what I do instead. At least I get my creativity out somehow. So I think the background's pretty good for now. I want to focus on the hair because I feel like that's the most fun part. And then those sunflowers are going to be so fun. But for now, we're going to color block that hair because this is where it gets a little exciting. So I'm putting a good amount of black on my brush. Not too much because I want to add a little warmth in there. So I'm adding some of that brown I had originally. Tiny smidge of yellow. A little of that red. And there is my black color. So this is going to be my shadow of the hair. So I like to add the shadows first. And like I said, it's not going to be 100% just like one random, it's not going to be just a circle. Like I'm not painting a circle. Her hair has like a roundness to it because it's an afro. But it's not just a straight circle. You've got like those little branches of hair, like those little curly cues that go out. That are super adorable, and I love them. I actually have really curly hair if you don't know that. Not coils like this, which I think are absolutely amazing. But I do have pretty curly hair, so I get it. It's not just one shape. So I'm kind of just adding a little bit of fluff, if that makes sense. A little dab it in there. It's just some shades. Just don't want it to be one solid shape going on. So dab it towards the ends so it gives that softer look. Dabbing it in. Dabbing, dabbing. I don't care if it gets on the forehead a little bit because that's okay. Oops, someone just came home. Probably Sean. Might mean this the end of my video. Oh well, we're just gonna keep going. See if he even notices I'm home. It's funny. Anyways, adding in these darks here. This is just the base, so it might look a little funny. But that's what I was saying before. When you're painting, you gotta think in layers. You don't want to think of just like one thing, because everything has dimension to it. Unless you're just like painting one flat color, there's always dimension in everything that you do. And this is exactly why I didn't do one solid thing with my background. Like, you know how I went kind of up this way with the yellow in the background? You still have some of that yellow in there, so I had to go back further than I had what my guideline had me do. Because you kind of add some softness in there when you're drawing her hair. I'm using the corner of my brush to add like more of a circular corkscrew look. And then later on I'll go and add some more definition. But we're just kind of really taking that color and moving it around with the corner of my brush. Good Lord. There we go. I'm taking like the corner of my brush and dabbing it like this to add that circular kind of feel to it. Good grief, Charlie Brown. How long is this video? I mean, you're going to be snoring. Might as well speed it up. Speed it up. So, the way I had her hair, it kind of went further out. So I'm kind of want to make this side a little thicker. I'm going to add it in a little further out. That's where the sunflowers are. So I'm going to add some of that softness in some spots, not all. Because again, her hair is just not one big circle. It has some in between spots that kind of jut out, and then others do not. She has this cute little like fluff going on right here. I like it. Like in the photo, you can see that like fluff she's got going on. I love that. A coily kind of consistency. And this actually isn't as dark as I wanted it to be, so I'm adding a little more black. But at least that gives me kind of the idea of what I was going for. So we're going to add a little more dark. And we're going to feather it in slightly, very lightly towards the ends. I don't want it to be too crazy towards the ends because that's where it starts to get a little more light. But towards the closer to the face, it's getting darker. So it's getting darker. And I'm actually going to take a little light when I go back. See like where the chin is by the hair? We're going to take, after I'm done with the hair obviously, but we're going to take a little light, like her lighter shade of skin tone, and we're going to chisel out her cheek area right there because that adds the light. Because when you think of shadows and lights, there's always that reflection on the face. On almost anything, really. There's always that nice light reflection on the dark. Like, see how kind of like this is dark here? This is light? The dark always has some sort of reflection going right here, because the light still hits it, kind of. Also, one of the things that they teach you in foundation art. I'm lucky I had a really good art teacher in high school, because I would not know that. I would not know that offhand unless I had a reference photo, which, if you're beginning, or even a professional, reference photos make a world of difference. They really do. That's my watch making that noise. Apologize. Making this a little lighter here, so it fluffs out. Circular motions, because that part, I want it to blend nice. Still need a little bit more dark in there. It's not dark enough, in my opinion. Not in all areas, but some of these spots like this needs to be darker. Adding a little bit of a curve when I'm painting that part because she's got coily hair. It's not just like a little straight line, it's kind of blobbed in there. And add a little more dark in some spots, like this definitely needs to be a little more dark for that shadow in there. Make like little C's when you do this kind of haircut, like this type of hair texture. It's your best bet. And then back when you do like the details and stuff, you could do the smaller C's, because this is really coily. This isn't like slightly curly hair, this is really coily. So when I go back over and do the details, I'm gonna add like little tiny brush strokes and like C motions, like the letter C, not like the ocean, right in this spot, so she has some definition to her hair. Because right now it's a little fluffy. It's fluffy. It's floofy. I like it. Such a nut. I am a nut, and I'm okay with that. For real. She's got some fluffy hair. I think that's pretty. I think it needs a little more dark in there. I'll add lighter tones when I go back. Maybe some darker back here. The light is hitting in certain spots, so I can fix that later on. Add some fluffiness going on there. I think that's pretty good for the base. So that's like the darker shades. Actually, I want to add a little more here. More definition going on. I love it. Love definition in hair, volume. So far, that's what we've got. Glare. There's a bit of a glare going on, but that's pretty on point of what we have right now. Oh, I gotta chisel this out a little bit. Whoops, that's okay. Great thing about painting is I can just go back over it if I make a mistake. Which is fine, because I'm gonna go over the face anyway. I just want to get rid of some of this canvas. Sometimes the thing about painting on canvas is you can see the canvas if you're not laying enough of a layer on there. So it's really important to pay attention to that. Oh, I love her hair. It's so fluffy. I love it. Fluff it up. It's like me when I wake up from when I sleep on my hair wet. Gosh darn it. Do not do that if you have curly hair. Please do not. I don't know how straight haired girls get away with that. I don't know how it reacts with your hair, but good grief. I don't want to see my hair when it's like slept on after being wet. Does not look pretty at all. I need some of that light back. Her one eyelid needs to be lifted a bit right here too. Gotta fix that. Boy, things I see after I start painting. Alright, so now I'm going to take my paper towel, which is super important for when you are using oils, in my opinion. I'm going to wipe off some of that black till I don't really have much wiping off the paper towel anymore. And I'm going to take some of that yellow. I'm going to start doing the sunflower. And I still have a little dark on the paintbrush, but that's okay because I need that anyway to lay out where the sunflower, what it will look like. Where it's going to go, what the shape looks like. We're laying out shapes right now. We're not really going too crazy with detail. We're laying some shapes down. And this one kind of goes like this. With the petals. It goes up And then it has that really dark spot in the center, so we're gonna add that too. And then, oh shoot, I should have done that actually first. So we're gonna add some of that dark in here before I go crazy. And you don't have to be perfect with it because you can paint right over it. Like I said, it's a nice thing about painting. If you make an error, you can just paint right back over it. So I'm gonna wipe off my brush again because I did that. Whoopsies. That's okay. That's why we paint, because we practice. So I did that darker shade there. I'm gonna go darker shade of yellow that I just did and add it to the other ones where that shadow is. Because that will add a nice dimension when we start adding in the petals in the front of the flower right here. And that is exactly why we did not go crazy. I mean, that's exactly why we added more of the background to this, because the background doesn't cover all this. Nope. Let's thicken up some of these petals. There we go. I want them to kind of go into the brown. Might even add some orange in there because I think it looks cute like that. Adding some of that. And you have to think, like, sometimes people add too much white to their paintings. So that's why, like, usually when I start prepping a canvas, I add gray to my gesso. And the reason that is because most people, when they're painting, they add so much white. And in reality, there's really not that much white in the natural world for like tints and stuff. It's just not that bright. Even in the eyes and in the face, I feel like people start off really way too much white in their paints, and you end up wasting so much white in your, like, that's why this painting palette came with 3 tubes of white versus all the other ones, because it is super common for artists to overuse the white when they should have just started out with a muted color in the first place and went over it with a brighter color. Because I have, like, this is what my mixing, this is what my palette looks like right now. We're using this for the petals right now. This was the background, so it's a little lighter. And then these are basically the colors I want to use for my petals for the foreground. Not the outside, or the dark side of the flower, I mean. So I'm going to use that basically to brighten it up. You don't have to use a lot of white in your paint to brighten a painting, and I feel like a lot of people forget that. So that's why I make my canvas, when I first start out, gray. Because then it kind of balances that for me. And I'm mixing this super cute yellow color. And I might actually add a little, ouch, toe is cramping, red. Ooh, that's a little, I don't want that much on my brush. I'm gonna dab that out a little bit before I add that. Ooh, so pretty. Pretty sunflower color. And then we're gonna add the fun part, the petals going this way. We're just gonna glob those in for dimension and shape. This is kind of like the fun part for me because I like the movement, like movement in paintings. Paint, you gotta like use the movement with your paintbrush. Add some nice depth. And when you think of a flower, you want to think of the flower as like a bowl shaped, not this straight. Have some petals coming this way to lighten it up. Not too much, because I have that, ooh, see that pretty color right there? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit by those flowers. That adds such a pretty dimension to your artwork. When you're doing flowers and stuff like that, you really want that nice contrast going on. And we want a movement with the petals. So I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to delicately go this and that way. Always want to go towards the bottom of the flower. Like make it more like a bowl shape because that adds this nice dimension to your petals. It makes it look less flat. And a lot of times I feel like people make that mistake. And so now that we've added that brighter color, it kind of shows a petal. I'm going to take this, I'm going to swipe it like that. We're just going to adding petals, the lighter petals. I might even use a smaller brush now. I want some orange in there too, so I think I'm going to do that. Add some mid-tone. I'm using the corner of the brush and just going downwards with it to create more of a more natural flow of the petal. And I think I'm going to take a smaller brush now and add more of a detail in the petals. So we're going to use a little orange. So I have this brush, one of my detailing ones. You can hardly even see it because it's not focusing very well. Whatever, you get the point. So I'm going to add a little orange. Add some color in that sunflower. So it's not just a straight muted shade. Blend it in with the, pulling out some of that dark and adding it in there as well. Oh, I'm smearing some of my paint on my finger by accident. Oopsies. I need my napkin or my paper towel. Do I even know what names are anymore? Do I even know what a word is? I need to sleep. Ooh, to pick up some more color. Oh, I wanted that peekaboo color in there. That's why it's important to add that. Oh, that's a little too much on my brush. This is where you can experiment a little bit with little detail brushes, because you can kind of like glob in a nice little small amount of paint on there and really learn how brush stroke movements affect the look of things. Like when I do some petals, I don't make them like a straight line down, not always. Some of them I add a little curvature to, and it really makes that nice pop. I really want a little more. I want this. So my battery keeps dying, which is really annoying. So I might just end this here soon. So if it dies on me again, I'm just gonna end this because that was battery number 2. And we'll pick this up on another video. So, I mean, this is getting kind of long anyway. So maybe I'll just do a series of paint with me's, which is fine because I love making these videos. Everybody, I think it's fun to see everybody's, like the way people paint. Everybody paints differently, and I think that's fun. I like it. Everybody has their own way. Their own creative way of doing things. Add some more dark right in there. Add some pops of orange. So the next video we'll talk about finishing these flowers and then adding some more definition in that hair, because right now it's kind of floofy. And then I'm going to fix some of the features on the face, like this eye right here. Her lid needs to go up a little bit more. I need to add that shadow just like in this one. And then I'm going to add the highlights in the face to frame her face. And then we're going to play around with some of the extra little, my favorite actually, the details. Detailing at the end is my favorite stage of painting. Not so much color blocking. Color blocking is okay, but we're going to start adding in the extra stuff next video. So I'm going to stop it right here. I'm going to show you a quick little blurb of the painting so far. This is it so far. Yay! It's getting there, guys. So we'll discuss kind of more tips and strategies on, not really tips and strategies, just kind of my way of doing it. Don't have to do it this way. I think it's more fun when you paint on your own, kind of, I don't know, everybody has their own style. I think that's fun. So I'm going to end it here, and we will touch base the next time I get a chance to paint, which honestly is pretty soon because I went back to 8 hours again each day for work instead of 10, because I used to do 10-hour days, which is really a lot. It's a lot. It's mentally taxing, especially if you have kind of a stressful job. It takes a number on you. So I'm kind of really glad to be back at 8 hours. So I'm gonna fold my palette so I can use it again. There's the palette and my feet. And I can reuse this, so that's the best thing ever, because I'm not wasting all my paints. See everybody next time I decide to paint again, which is hopefully soon. See ya! Peace!